Accent. When I was up at the Ring of Brodgar, everybody was saying people used to come up here and tell stories, and then other people came. It had nothing to do with the first people, but they picked up the stories and Laura and Nora. Do you think that actually happened?
Oh, yeah. People have always been telling stories. And stories help to explain the landscape. They can help to explain the unexplained. So,
like what?
Well, I mean, when the Vikings arrived here to start with, they didn't know why the stone circle was there, who had built it. But so they attached a myth to it, story to it that came from their culture, which was that this was a gathering place for giants. And giants would dance to the music of a fiddler. And they danced in a great circle. And one night they were enjoying themselves so much they lost track of time. And the sun rose, and they were all turned to stone, and there they remain to this day, you know.
Because they stayed too long at the party.
They did, yes. They should have gone home
when their mum said.
Yeah. But, I mean, that is a case of a different people coming into Orkney from Scandinavia and then bringing their own interpretations in. But there were still, you know, stories that probably preceded that by a long way, you know.
Like what?
Well, there's a legend of the Mother of the Sea, which is a spirit that rules the sea in the summer. She gives life to all the creatures in the sea and calms the storms. But then she uses up all her power. She grows weaker, and she has a rival called Terran, who's a male spirit that she keeps bound up with buttons. And he breaks his bonds to the permanent fight. That's when you get the gales in the equinox, when the storm, the bad seas. He drives her ashore into exile, and then he rules his winter, which brings death and chaos, because he creates storms. And of course, Ishbud, water, loves to go off and what I've said. So there's dangerous, but it's also that's cool. And but then his strength starts to weaken around the springtime. Mother Sea comes back, another big upshot. Another equinox storms, and then she finds him at the bottom of the sea. Now, that story must go back into Greek history, because it's definitely not history.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not in the Viking pantheon either. So we kind of don't know that it's not that. Which means it must be at the latest Hectic. But the fact that it's a female spirit giving life, like kind of mother earth, but of the sea, suggests free history. I say probably the people around here that were living at the Ness and using the stone circles, they should probably known that.
That's wonderful. I mean, just looking round us here, just the shape of the mountain does invite storytelling, doesn't it?
Well, that was another story, actually. There's a Caithness giant. So a giant that lived at Caithness on the other side of the Gulf, who coveted some rich, fertile Orkney soil. So he put a big straw basket on his back, and he came over to Orkney, and he took one huge handful and dumped it into his basket, and another huge hand dumped it in the basket, and went off, and that left two huge holes, which filled up with water, and that created the Stennis Loch that's behind us, and the Harry Loch that's in front of us all, and also created this peninsula that most of it. So he's on his way home when a big turf falls off the top of his basket into the sea, and that makes the island a grain sea. And then he drops the whole basket, and all the earth spills out, and that made the hills a hole behind us. Yeah, those ones there. So that's all from an earth rustling the giant in cases.
Geologists might be a little bit cynical, but I think it's true.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have all respect for geologists, but they don't know everything.
Favourite story? Got a very favourite story?
Well, there's one about a sea monster called the Stoorwood, which is a massive sea serpent. And it's threatening to destroy a kingdom, and also to eat a princess, when an unlikely character called Asipat, which just means ash raker, steals the king's boat, sails down the monster's throat, and sets fire to his liver, and then legs it back again. And as the monster's dying, its tongue gets thrust up, grabs the moon, falls back to Earth, leaves a big hole, 4-ton-shaped hole, which makes the Baltic Sea. And then it's thrashing around in its dying agony, his teeth gets knocked out. I mean, first lock makes Orkney, second lock Shetland, third lock Faroes, and then it curls up and dies and remains there to this day as Iceland, which is why you get volcanoes and the boiling water that goes on.
You know what fascinates me is the fact that these stories about the creation of these landscapes are stories of turmoil, just like geomorphologists interpret what happened when they tell something similar today.
Yeah, it's a way of explaining the untold.
15 seconds. Your favourite Orkney story, which you haven't told us on the telly?
Well, you see all the mounds around here? They were the homes of the Charles, fairy folk, and sometimes people would go into the mound and dance with them, and then discover that years had passed when they left. So they thought they were in there for a few seconds, come out years later.
They stayed too long at the party.
They did, and one guy had a whiskey with them, and they drank that as well. You can't trust them.
Should have been home when their mum said.
Exactly.